Have you ever been through one of those days when the whole world is against you? Days when tears come without warning, and do you feel completely lost? I understand this feeling perfectly, and today I will share with you the most important things you need to say to yourself when the days get very difficult. You know, we all go through moments of intense pain. It may be the loss of someone dear, a health problem, financial difficulties, or simply that feeling that nothing is working. At these times, the right words can be like a tight hug in our soul. In this video, I will teach you 10 powerful phrases that can turn your darker day into a moment of hope and strength. These are not just beautiful words, they are truths that can change your perspective and help you find light even in the deeper darkness. If you do not learn to talk to yourself in a loving way in difficult times, you may end up sinking even more in sadness. But if you master this ability, you will discover an inner strength that didn't even know it existed. Stay until the end, because the last sentence I will share has the power to transform any situation, as desperate as it may seem. Phrase 1. This pain will not last forever. When we are in the middle of an emotional storm, it seems that the pain will never pass. Our mind deceives us, making us believe that we will always feel like that. But the truth is that everything in life is temporary, including suffering. The problem that this phrase solves is the feeling of desperation that paralyzes us. When we believe that pain is eternal, we lose hope and the will to fight. Our mind gets stuck in the painful present, unable to see a different future. This leaves us without the strength to make the decisions necessary to improve our situation. To apply this truth to practice, you need to consciously remember that you have gone through other difficulties before. Think at some point in the past when you felt devastated but managed to recover. It may have been a fight with someone important, a problem at work, or a loving disappointment. Remember how you felt at the time and compare with how you feel today about that situation. When the pain tightens, repeat to itself, "This pain won't last forever. I've been through difficult things before and I managed to get over. Tomorrow will be a new day and things can be different." Write this phrase on a paper and put it in a place where you can see every day. The direct benefits of this attitude are immense. First, you recover hope, which is the fuel needed to keep fighting. Second, his mind stops setting only on the present suffering and begins to imagine future possibilities. Third, you develop a broader perspective of life, understanding that difficult times are fleeting and part of the human journey. Phrase 2. I'm stronger than I imagine. Often in times of fragility, we completely forget our own strengths. We focus so much on what is going wrong that we lose sight of everything we have already achieved and overcome. This phrase serves to reconnect with our own inner power. The problem it solves is the low self-esteem that arises in difficult times. When we are suffering, we tend to see ourselves as defenseless victims of the circumstances. We begin to believe that we are not able to deal with challenges and that we are too weak to overcome difficulties. This distorted view of ourselves makes us even more vulnerable and without direction. To put this truth into practice, make a list of all the difficulties you have ever faced in life. It can be from small things, such as learning to drive or speaking in public, to more serious situations such as the loss of a job or the end of a relationship. Beside each difficulty, write how you managed to overcome it and what you have learned from the experience. When you feel weak, take this list and reread. Say to yourself, "I've been through so many difficult things and always found a way to move on. I have an inner strength that I don't always recognize, but she's always with me." Share your victories with people close, as this also helps to strengthen the perception of your own ability. The benefits of this attitude are transformative. You develop genuine self-confidence based on real evidence of your overcoming capacity. This gives you the courage to face current challenges with more determination. In addition, you stop underestimating yourself and start making braver decisions, knowing that you have internal resources to deal with the consequences. Phrase 3. It's okay not being well. We live in a society that pressures people to always be happy and positive. When we go through difficult times, besides the original pain, we still carry the blame for not being well. This phrase frees us from this unnecessary pressure and allows us to feel what we need to feel. The problem that this solves is the resistance to suffering, which only increases our pain. When we try to force happiness, we don't feel. We create an inner tension that makes us even more distressed. We began to judge ourselves because they are sad or afraid, as if that were a defect of ours. This struggle against their own feelings prevents us from properly processing difficult emotions. In practice, you need to be allowed to feel everything you are feeling without judgment. When sadness comes, let it exist. When fear appears, recognize your presence without trying to expel it immediately. Say to yourself, "It's okay I'm sad today. It's okay me to be afraid. These feelings are normal and part of human experience." Look for a safe space where you can express your emotions freely. It can be crying in the bath, talking to a trusted friend, or writing in a diary. The important thing is not to keep everything inside you, pretending that everything is okay when it is not. The benefits of this approach are deep. First, you stop wasting energy fighting your own feelings. Second, it allows emotions to flow naturally, which is essential for emotional healing. Third, you develop a healthier relationship with yourself based on self-acceptance and compassion rather than constant judgment. Now I need to make a very special order for you. If this video is helping you in any way, if you are feeling that these words make sense to your heart, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so as not to lose the next videos. And in the comments, tell me where you are watching. This helps me a lot to understand who are the people who follow this work. Your participation is very important to me. Phrase 4. I deserve love and care, especially my own. When we are going through difficult times, it is common to treat ourselves with cruelty we would never use with other people. We criticize ourselves ruthlessly, we blame for everything that goes wrong, and completely forget that we also deserve kindness and care. The problem that this phrase solves is the emotional self-sabotage that happens just when we need support. In moments of fragility, instead of offering comfort, we do the opposite. We attack with thoughts like, "I should be stronger," "It's my fault," "I don't serve for anything." This critical inner voice makes us even more injured and with no resources to deal with difficulties. To put this truth into practice, start observing how you speak to yourself during difficult times. When you realize that you are being cruel, stop and ask yourself, would I talk to a dear friend that was going through the same situation? The answer will probably be no. So change the internal conversation. Practice self-care consciously. This can be taking a relaxing bath, preparing a food you like, wearing an outfit that makes you feel good, or simply giving you permission to rest. Say to yourself, "I deserve care and kindness. I will treat myself with the same affection that would offer someone I love." The benefits of this change are extraordinary. You develop a more solid emotional base because it stops being your own enemy. This creates a safer internal environment where you can heal and grow. Also, when you are doing well, naturally attracts people in situations that also treat you with respect and affection. Phrase 5. Each small step counts. In difficult times, we tend to feel paralyzed in the face of the enormity of problems. We look at everything that needs to be resolved and feel unable to handle. This phrase reminds us that we do not need to solve everything at once, and that each small action has value. The problem it solves is the sense of helplessness that arises when we look only at the full size of the challenge. When we focus on the problem as a whole, it seems impossible to solve. This leaves us without action, hoping to find a magic solution that solves everything at once. Meanwhile, we get stuck in inaction, which only worsens our emotional situation. In practice, you need to divide your problems into smaller and more manageable parts. If you are going through a financial crisis, for example, don't try to solve everything today. Start with a small action. Organize papers, make a list of spending, or research a job opportunity. If you are dealing with a loss, do not cover yourself to overcome quickly. Allow yourself to live one day at a time. Celebrate every little victory. Could you get out of bed on a difficult day? This is an achievement. Did you talk to a friend? One more victory. Did you take care of a small task? Recognize the merit. Say to yourself, every step I take, however small, takes me to a better place. I don't need to run, I just need to keep walking. The benefits of this approach are transformative. You recover the sense of control over your life because you realize that you can make choices and take action, even if small. This generates a positive momentum, where each small action gives you energy to the next. Also, you develop loving patience with yourself, understanding that healing and change are processes that take time. Phrase 6. I can ask for help when I need. One of the hardest things for many people is to admit that they need support. Especially women who often feel responsible for taking care of everyone, have difficulty recognizing their own needs and asking for help when they are suffering. The problem that this phrase solves is the isolation that arises in difficult times. When we believe we need to handle everything alone, we end up moving away from the people who could support us. This is proud, fear of being seen as weak or not wanting to disturb others. The result is that we face our hardest battles completely alone when we could actually have support. To apply this truth to practice, start by identifying people in your life that really care about you. It can be a family member, a close friend, a neighbor, or even a professional like a psychologist. It doesn't have to be many people, just 1 or 2 people you trust. When you feel you need help, be specific to your order. Instead of saying, I'm bad, say, I need someone to talk, or I need help solving this situation. Remember that people who love you want to help you, and you are not a burden on them. Say to yourself, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. I deserve support, and the people who love me are happy to help me. The benefits of this change are immense. First, you don't have to carry the weight of problems alone. Second, other people may offer different perspectives you had not considered. Third, you strengthen your relationships as it allows people to show your love and care for you. Also, you become an example for others, showing that it's okay to need support. Phrase 7. My pain has a purpose. When we are suffering, it is natural to question why so much pain. It seems that suffering has no meaning and that we are going for it for nothing. This phrase helps us find meaning even in the most difficult times, understanding that pain can be a powerful master. The problem this solves is the feeling that suffering is useless and purposeless. When we believe our pain is for nothing, it becomes even more unbearable. We begin to feel victims of fate, as if life is unfair to us. This vision makes us bitter and hopeless, for we cannot see any meaning in what we are living. In practice, you need to ask yourself, what can this difficult situation teach me? Or, how can I grow through this experience? This does not mean that you have to like the pain or pretend you are grateful for it. It only means that you can choose to extract something valuable from this experience. Perhaps the pain is teaching you to be more compassionate to yourself. Perhaps you are showing you who the people are really careful about you. Perhaps you are giving you the courage to make necessary changes in your life. Or maybe you are preparing you to help other people who will go through similar situations in the future. Say to yourself, even if I don't understand it now, I trust that this experience has a purpose in my life. I will use this pain to become a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Write about your feelings and reflections, as this helps process the experience and find meaning. The benefits of this perspective are deep. You transform suffering into personal growth, which gives dignity to your pain. It develops a genuine resilience based on the confidence that it can overcome any challenge. In addition, your experience becomes a source of wisdom that can help other people in the future. Phrase 8. I choose to have hope. Hope is not something that simply happens to us. It is a conscious choice we make, especially in the darker moments. When everything seems lost, hope is what keeps us alive and gives us strength to continue fighting. The problem that this phrase solves is the despair that can consume us in difficult times. When we lose hope, we also lose the desire to fight. We begin to believe that nothing will improve, that it is no use trying, that we are condemned to suffer forever. This lack of hope makes us apathetic and without energy to take the actions necessary to change our situation. To practice hope consciously, start every day remembering something you can have hope. It can be small, such as the possibility of a quieter day, or something bigger, like a significant change in your life. Even if it's hard to believe, do the exercise of imagining a better future. Look for stories of people who have experienced their difficulties similar to their own and managed to recover. This is not to compare your situation with theirs, but to remember that overcoming is possible. Say to yourself, I choose to have hope, even when it's hard. I trust good things will still happen in my life. Cultivate small rituals of hope. It can be to plant a seed and take care of it, write letters for your future me, or simply observe the sunrise every day. These symbolic actions strengthen their ability to believe in future possibilities. The benefits of choosing hope are extraordinary. It gives you energy to keep trying even when things are difficult. It helps you see opportunities that once went unnoticed. In addition, hope is contagious. It attracts positive people and situations to your life. When you choose to have hope, you are choosing to be the protagonist of your own story. Phrase 9. I already survived all my worst days. This is one of the most powerful truths we can remember in difficult times. You've been through situations that seemed impossible to overcome, and yet you are here, reading these words. This is a living proof of your ability to resistance and overcoming. The problem this phrase solves is the feeling that we will not be able to overcome the current moment. When we are in the middle of a crisis, our mind convinces us that this time it is different, that this time we will not succeed. We completely forget about every other times we feel exactly the same thing, and yet we can go through the storm. In practice, make a mental timeline of all the difficult times you've ever lived. It can be in childhood, adolescence, in adulthood. Remember how you felt at each of these moments and how you managed to overcome them. Realize that you have a history of victories, even though at the time you didn't feel like a winner. When the current pain seems unbearable, say to herself, I've been through other moments that seemed impossible to overcome, and I got it. I have an inner strength that allows me to survive my worst days. If I got it before, I can get it now too. Recognize that you are a survivor, not a victim. Create a mental or physical file of your victories. Every time you overcome a challenge, however small, add to your collection of evidence of your ability to overcome. This serves as a constant reminder that you are stronger than you think. The benefits of this perspective are transformative. You develop a real evidence-based confidence of your overcoming capacity. This gives you the courage to face the challenges present, knowing that you have proved to yourself that you can go through difficult times. Also, you stop seeing yourself as a fragile person and begins to recognize yourself as the warrior who really is. Phrase 10. I am loved and valued even in my most difficult moments. This is perhaps the most important truth of all. In times of deep pain, it is easy to believe that we are a burden on people around us, that we deserve love, or that our sadness makes us less valuable. But the truth is the opposite. You are precious, exactly as it is. The problem this phrase solves is the sense of unworthiness that arises when we are vulnerable. We begin to believe that we only deserve love when we are well, happy, and productive. When we are experiencing difficulties, we feel that we are not worthy of care and attention. This belief makes us isolating us just when we need connection and support. To apply this truth to practice, you need to remember the people who really care about you. Think the times when they showed love and care, especially at times when you were not well. Remember that true love is not conditional to your emotional state or circumstances. When you feel unworthy of love, say to yourself, I'm beloved not for what I do, but from what I am. My pain doesn't make me less valuable. The people who really love me want to be by my side in both good and difficult times. Allow yourself to receive the love and care that others offer. Practice self-pity, speaking to yourself as you would talk to a dear child who is suffering. Use a kind and loving tone, offering comfort instead of criticism. Remember that you don't have to be perfect to be loved. The benefits of this understanding are deep and lasting. You develop a more solid self-esteem based on your intrinsic value as a human being. This allows you to receive support when you need, strengthening your relationships. Also, you stop sabotaging yourself emotionally and begins to treat yourself with the kindness you deserve. These 10 sentences are like seeds of hope that you can plant in your heart on the most difficult days. Each carries a powerful truth that can transform your perspective and give you strength to continue walking, even when the past seems impossible. Remember that going through difficult times is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are human. We all face storms in life, and what defines us is not the absence of difficulties, but the way we choose to deal with them. You have an extraordinary force within you, even if sometimes you can't feel it. In the darker days, when it seems there is no way out, go back to these sentences. Repeat them to itself as a healing mantra. Write them in papers and spread the house. Record them in your mind and heart. They will be their faithful companions in moments of pain and their guides for light. Life is not easy, but you are stronger than you think. You have proven it many times and will prove it again. Every day you choose to get up and try one more time is an act of extraordinary courage. You are a warrior disguised as an ordinary woman, and your story is still being written. Now I want to know about you. Which of these phrases has played your heart more deeply? Which one do you most need to hear at this moment of your life? Share in the comments, as your experience can be exactly what someone else needs to listen to today. Together we are stronger.